What's up, everybody? It's Saturday morning, and you know what that means. So, number one, this is the week one of the NFL, so we all know about that. So everybody's all hyped up. Watch that great game with Dallas and Tampa Bay, and tomorrow is what we're all waiting for, right? Kickoff, 1 p.m. We got the quad box going, red zone. You got the game at night with Chicago and the Rams. There's so many different storylines tomorrow, but today is Major League Baseball day. And as always, I'm your host, Tony Jigsaw Cutillo. Find me at Cutillo23. You see going along on the banner right there. Win Daily Sports. Okay, follow Win Daily Sports on all social formats. Again, get into the subscription base now. Get into the Discord chat now where you can get all your information. Tons of free content as well. And most importantly, look at the subscription values that they'll offer. We are winning tickets every single day. And there's only about 3 weeks left of Major League Baseball. And then we'll get a little break and then we're going to go right in the NBA. But today, you know how this works. It's all about baseball. It's all about the late games, right? So we're looking at the 8 games that start at 7 o'clock. So that's what we do every Saturday. And the reason why we do that, okay, is specifically because we want everybody to get some time in order to break it down. It is Saturday. It's a gorgeous day out. I went a little early today because it is so nice out. I want this to breathe a little bit throughout the, all day long. I know people have been watching college football and things of that nature, okay? So what we're going to do right now is we're going to do what we typically do, okay? And we're going to look at, here's the thing. You got your core, you got your sleepers, you got your arms, right? Listen, Sharp, gotta throw it out there, right? The alternative edge. Watch my show every Friday afternoons on the Sharp app. I see it right here. Got the gear. It's a fantastic app, a fantastic tool. So many different things. Check it out. Download it for free today. And right now, let's go into Major League Baseball. And let's get right into this. Because I think there's some really interesting games tonight. And baseball is so hard right now. Let's just start it out there. Before we go any longer, baseball has been extremely difficult over the last couple of weeks, only because there's so many call-ups. There's so many different storylines, whether people are fighting for wild cards, playoffs, divisions, are they resting? It's almost like not to the extent of the NBA, but kind of the same facet, right? Where we have to look at these continual developments every single day, which is another reason why I do the show so early, so you have all day to look at it. So we have you have the Discord chat all day. You have the YouTube channel. You have me. My DMs are open at Cutillo23. And anything on Twitter, just throw it out there. Let's talk about it, right? And it gives you time, whether it's going to be a bullpen game, whether it's going to be a starter game, it's all there. So this is what I came up with for me personally. Now, again, things can change. You might have to tinker a little bit throughout the course of the day. It's just the way it works, okay? But look at this as a baseline of who you possibly could start. And we're going to go right for the arms. Now, Walker Buehler tonight, to me, is the play. The ultimate bounce back game for Walker Buehler. Now, everybody, don't get upset because Walker Buehler had a bad outing his last time out. Whether it was a bad time for it or not, it doesn't matter, okay? Only goes 3 innings pitched, 7 hits allowed, 6 runs. We know the deal, okay? San Francisco beat them up. I get it. Not a big deal. Not a problem, okay? It happens. And if it's going to happen, let it happen now. But this is the ultimate bounce back game because, number one, the last time he faced San Diego goes 7 innings, gives up 0 runs, no home runs, and strikes out 8. 106 pitches. So right now, and that was in San Diego. Now he's at home in Chad Levine. Now he's home in LA, and he can bounce back in front of the crowd. And the best part about this pick is his number is under 10,000 at 9,400. Gives you a lot of flexibility. When you're building the rest of your lineup. Okay, so when you look at this and you look at the number one is Luis Garcia at 10.5, even Dylan Cease at 9.6 is still more money than Walker Buehler. That is unheard of to me. That's ridiculous. I'm sorry. Don't care what the matchups are. This is a great spot for you to be in to get the bounce back from Walker Bueller. Fantasy Guru checking in. I love the Walker Bueller play. Listen, the Walker play, you have to do it. It's under 10,000. Joe checking in. What's up, Joe? Been adamant on Twitter lately. I'm liking it. I'm digging it, as always. But yeah, the Walker play to me is exactly where you need to go. Okay. And then I'm going to go right to Atlanta, a team that is obviously in the driver's seat in the National League East, a team that's going to need these veteran games, and none other than Charlie Morton going up against the Miami Marlins, but he is at home. And again, for me, at 8,000, okay, at 8,000, I'm looking at Charlie Morton and saying, I know my baseline is 20. I know it's 20. I'm going to get 20 to 25 out of Charlie Morton every time I go in there. 4 out of the last 5 games, no more than 2 earned runs allowed. Only giving up 3 home runs in 5 games, so he's not giving up the long ball, and he's averaging 7 Ks per 9 over his last 5 starts. This is a great time to be a Charlie Morton fan. The last time he faced Miami, okay, on the 18th, no, he did 9 strikeouts. He threw 89 pitches, only walked 1, and only gave up 3 hits. Fantastic game, and that was in Miami. Now he gets to come home in Atlanta on another game. Every game's a must-win for the Atlanta Braves if they want to continue to stay on top of the division and get into the playoffs. So every game is a must-win. So Charlie Morton, 8,000. You look at this, and you say, I have 2 pitchers right now. 2 pitchers, a 17-4 I'm starting off with, right? I mean, again, Morton's been solid and consistent. Exactly, Joe. If you look at him over the last 5, you know he's going to get you at least 20. He's going to get you at least 20. He's a strikeout pitcher, right? And that's what you want. You want a strikeout pitcher. And that's a great point. Here you go. Joe throwing it out there. And I love when the audience chimes in because it makes this show that much better. Morton got an extension. He's going out to prove that money 100%. 100%. When you get an extension, listen, sometimes guys think they may not have to prove anything, but when you're a veteran and you're in a pennant race, you're absolutely going to prove what you can be. So I love it. Stovey checking in. What's up, Stovey? Getting in early, just waiting on my brace to choke. As per usual around the end of the year. Listen, we want to talk about choking. How about we talk about the Phillies, man? They talk about an ultimate choking. It's JT Realmuto. I don't know what the hell's going on with him. But, yeah, listen, yeah, I hear you, but they're still, in my opinion, the most consistent team left in that division. So it's theirs to win. Like you said, whether they choke or not, we'll see what happens, but it's definitely theirs to win and theirs to wear the crown for. That's for damn sure. And then we're going to go with a sleeper. I like to throw the sleepers in there because, listen, there's only 8 games that I'm looking at. It's only the 8 games, okay? You got Boston, the White Sox. You got L.A. and Houston, KC, Minnesota, Cincinnati, St. Louis, Miami, Atlanta, New York, the New York series, which I love, right? San Diego, LA, and Arizona, Seattle. So you have those 8 games I'm looking at. So I look at these pictures and try to pick you guys out somebody that quite possibly could have a good game under that $7,000 mark. And I look at Brady Singer. He's $6,000 going up against Michael Pineda, who is not that good anymore, or Minnesota. I know they are playing away on the road, but if you look at Singer numbers over the past 4 games, he's consistently in double digits. He just faced the White Sox and blanked them. Think about that. He just blanked the White Sox. One of the early season, or I'd say early preseason takes for, a World Series victor, with the Chicago White Sox. A team that's got a ton of power potential, a ton of hitting in that lineup. And they're very consistent. Brady Singer came out. What did he do? He struck out 6, went 7 innings, gave up goose eggs, no runs, no hits. So my man right there, Brady Singer, he is ready. Okay? He is ready. So that's one thing that I enjoy looking at, breaking down, saying, what can we do? What can we do to get up to, those low ownership levels to break us up into that top tier of our cash game? And Brady Singer could be that guy. You want to take a chance? Like, again, 6,000 leaves a ton of room for bats. Right? Free fantasy tips. Have you gone mad, Jigsaw? My man Mike checking in. Listen, Mike, you got to do it every now and then. I got to show everybody. Listen, I may not hit on all my picks. Nobody ever does. If they do, they wouldn't be sitting in front of YouTube throwing it out there, right? Honestly, nobody, I don't care if you go to Vegas, doesn't matter. Not everybody is perfect. It's all about how you take these stats and you formulate your agenda. Your agenda may not be right all the time, but at least you know you're not just picking things up against a wall, going through projection models, throwing a guy in there and say, yeah, I like this guy because, oh, the last 4 games, he was over the spread. Stop. You got to dive deeper into that, and that's what Jigsaw is going to give you. Okay? So, again, Bueller, Morton, I think that the Bueller-Morton combo to me, okay, is a no-brainer. 17-4. Okay, 17,400, still giving you about 32 and a half to build your lineup around, which is a lot for bats, man. A lot for bats. I'm ready to enroll in your executive payroll. Man, let me tell you, Mike, if you like it, dig it, Win Daily Sports, check it out, man. I'll tell you, Sharp as well. Let me know if you're a betting guy. You want betting lines, go to Sharp. I have a ton of affiliate programs. I got a code. I got it all, man. I love it. Dennis, I love hearing this, Tony. I play more bets than fantasy, but it opens doors. Listen, that's the thing, Dennis. I'm the opposite. I play more fantasy than I do bets. But what I do love, I don't know if you guys have checked it out yet, but swing over to the Sharp app on Fridays. I'll be swinging over to the Sharp app every day because there's a ton of potential on there. But on Fridays, I do the show, The Alternative Edge, where I talk prop betting and DFS all in one show. And it's gotten some rave reviews. I like it. It's a different concept. Nobody's really doing it. I brought it out. I enjoy it. You get to break down the models, whether it be the value from DFS, how it correlates to prop betting, or even how the prop bets can kind of adjust the value charts of the DFS players. So it's really interesting when you look inside those numbers to see how it goes. So check that out as well. So let's get to some bats. Okay, let's get to some bats, and we'll review later. I'm going to try to keep this show under a half hour every day. I think that the half hour is the point, right? Nobody wants to listen forever, and nobody wants to look at this mug forever either. So let's go for the core right now. And again, you guys know I'm very unique in the way I style my cores, right? I think you guys know this already. The guys that follow me understand how I do the cores. I have power and I have consistency, right? So you see the top guys that are the power in Salvatore Perez and Aaron Judge. Now, Salvatore Perez is not getting enough love this year. He's just not. My man is killing the ball. And if there was no guy named Shohei Ohtani, Salvador Perez would be the highlight of every Sports Center meme, every Web Jam highlight, every Baseball Tonight show, every fast pitch show on MLB Network. It doesn't matter. Salvador Perez will be the guy that they build shows around. 42 home runs, 104 RBIs. Let me tell you something. Okay, this guy has been nothing short of amazing, and he plays in Kansas City, which sucks for him, right? We all know that. It sucks for him, but 42 and 104, and we still have games left, people. And what better way? Only 1 home run in the past 5 games. What better way, okay, than to break out today with another home run? Micah Pineda is not the guy he used to be. Okay, he does give up long balls. He's given up 4 home runs in the last 5 games. He's a guy who throws the ball hard and makes a lot of mistakes, whether it be with his curveball, his splitter, or his 4-seamer. Okay, and that's what Salvador Perez is going to feast on. So for me, for my money, that's why Sal is in my core. Now, the next guy in my core is Aaron Judge. Now, a lot of people are going to say, Tony, what are you doing with Aaron Judge? He hasn't homered in the last 7 games. He hasn't been great. Only 1 hit, okay, or a 1 game, multi-hit game in the past 10. Okay, only scored 1 run in the last 7. But he hasn't. Here's what I like about Aaron Judge. You have to look at the contact rate, right? Aaron Judge has only struck out twice in 5 games. So if you look at 5 games and you get out 4 times, that's 20 times he's at bat. He only struck out twice. For a power hitter, I think that's extremely important because it doesn't mean that he's not seeing the ball. It just means that he's hitting a stroke of bad luck, right? He's making contact. It's just not going out of the park, and it's not producing. Eventually, that is going to turn, right? So what better way than against Taijuan Walker? Okay, another hard thrower. You have to look at the hard throwers. Taijuan Walker, okay, has given up. You ready for this? And these are the stats you're going to look at. These are the stats you're going to look at. He's given up 8 home runs in 5 games. 8. His strikeout totals are down and his walks are up. Okay, he has actually walked 9 batters in his last 5 starts. He's gave up his last game against Washington, the Nationals, who stink, I might tell you. He only went 4 innings and gave up 6 runs. I'm telling you right now, he can be exploited by this Yankees offense. And for me, I was going to go Stanton, but I think I'm going to go Stanton to hit a home run tonight. I think a prop bet for Mike, I was just calling Mike Stanton, for Giancarlo Stanton in the prop market to go long, I think it's where you want to go. I really do. So I would I would lean towards Aaron Judge as the more explosive DFS player to give you more bang for your buck. Okay. So that's where I'm going with that. So Aaron Judge to me has to be in your core again. He's 5,300. You're not spending 6,000. Still gives you some flexibility, right? You always do that. Mike says, do you do a college football quick picks this week by chance? Mike, here's who you have to watch. Okay. I'm going to tell you this right now. Mark Drumheller, my guy, my football guy. He's part of Heat Ratio Sports. He's part of Sharp. Okay, you got to check him out. He's going to do a show at 11 o'clock this morning, or at 10 o'clock, betting for breakfast. Okay, check it out. Betting for breakfast at 10 o'clock on the Sharp app, all college football picks. That's the guy you want to follow. I'll tell you what, you will not be disappointed. Al checking in. What up, Al? How you doing on a nice Saturday morning? Al checking in, my half-core Heat brother, okay, my Heat Ratio Sports brethren, right? We're getting live, we're getting big. I love it. Dennis says, you got money on almost all the players you usually mention. I tried, Dennis. I try, man. I really do. You never know. You never know. Thank you for the tip. Please share on the Heat page if you can. So, Mike, I can't share it on the Heat page because it's exclusively through Sharp. So, if you can, all you need to do is download that Sharp app. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. Or go on the YouTube page. If you go on the Sharp YouTube page, you can check it out there as well. The Betting for Breakfast boys will be there. My man with their shades on a Saturday morning. Okay, so let's get back into this core. And I love my man Castellanos, right? You know how we've been big on the Cincinnati Reds this year, okay? Every chance we get, we like some Cincinnati Reds in our lineup, okay? We just do. They have been very, very consistent, okay? And today, my man Miles McCullough, I'm not really feeling Miles today, man, okay? I think there's a reason why he's under 7,000. I think there's a reason why he's given up a ridiculous 12 runs in his last 4 outings. Okay, this has, to me, again, not a big home run guy, but Castellanos, today I could see him absolutely going a 2-for-4 day, quite possibly an extra base hit, knock a couple RBIs in, and give you that 14 to 17 number for under 5,000. That's huge. He's hit safely in 7 of the last 8 games. He has multi-hit games within that span, has only gone long once, but here's the kicker. He's only struck out 1 time in 8 games. That's huge. That's the reason why I'm all in on Castellanos, because he's going to be the guy who gives you the flexibility in your lineup that's not built around power, right? He's going to give you the extra base hits that you need just in case one of your power guys gives you a goose egg because they're swinging for the fences. Castellanos in your core will pick them up. And then for my man Stobie, okay, who talked about Atlanta, okay, he talked about Atlanta. It was like, oh, Atlanta's going to choke. Well, I'll tell you one guy that's not choking, man. One guy is Ozzie Albies. And for Ozzie Albies, in my opinion, I don't care what he's done over the last few games. Every player hits a little mild slump, and we call this mild because we're just talking about, a few games ago where he went 2 for 3 with a home run, a walk, and 4 RBIs with 2 runs scored and gave you 27 for 5,100. They drop him below 5,000. A complete disrespect for me for Ozzie Albies, and a perfect guy to put in the back end of your core under 5,000. That's going to give you hits. He's going to give you walks. He's going to give you extra base hits, RBIs, run scored, even a stolen base here or there. He does it all. Okay, he does it all. And again, this is a great matchup, in my opinion, okay, against Miami, because, again, I'm pretty sure Mr. Hernandez is not scaring anybody. Decent pitcher, okay? decent, but he can be hit. Just because you're decent, have a decent ERA, doesn't mean you can't get hit up against, right? So if you break down his past 4 games, he's given up 21 hits. 21 hits. And again, it's how I build my core. Give me some hits. I don't always need power. I just need you to get on base to bump up my number. So there is my core for today. I think I love it. Like I said, it's always different, man. It's always different. Castellanos is definitely going to get bases. Dennis, 100%. You know that as well as I do. He's going to get bases. He's going to get on very frequently. And for 4,600, you cannot beat it. Now let's go. We got about 9 minutes left. I'm trying to keep this under 30 minutes. So let's go value. Okay, and I love the value picks. I love it. They're some of my favorite. You guys know that. The value picks are 100% my favorite. Now, we just talked about the Chicago White Sox. Okay, we talked about them having a lot of bats in the lineup. And one of those guys is Luis Robert. And the reason why I really like Luis Robert is he does it all. Okay, he does it all, and he's under 5,000. He's starting to creep up. His number continues to go up. And fluctuate in between the $4,000 and $5,000 range. Now, he's only given out of the past 5 games, only 1 game where he's been below his baseline. Okay, only 1 game. But again, this is a guy who does everything, gets on base, doesn't strike out a ton, hits for average over 300, multi-hit game. He has 2 multi-hit games in the last 5. He likes to get on base, and I think today against Boston at home is a really good matchup for Lewis. I think there's going to be a lot of runs scored, in that game on their side of the ball. So I really like him to get on base. Again, it's Seabold, Connor Seabold. I mean, come on, man. You got to look at this. You got to look at the matchups. I don't care. I don't care. Unfortunately, Chris Sale goes on the COVID list. Okay. And as of right now, Connor Seabold is the guy. Okay. The AAA pitcher that's going to get a start and a knock against the Chicago White Sox in Chicago. I tell you, man, guys like Moncada, guys like Jimenez, guys like Grandal. I mean, these are guys that you're really going to have to look at. I don't have them on my core list. That's why I like to pick little guys here and there. And I think Luis Robert gives you the best value, okay, in my opinion, on that team. Then we're going to go back to Atlanta, and we're going to go back to Mr. Peterson, who has been a revelation. And again, nobody wanted him to be Ronald Acuna Jr., right? All they wanted him to do is provide some kind of potential or hitting potential to be able to just be inside of that Braves lineup to give them some kind of stability. And Jock Peterson has been able to do that. Listen, he's never hit for a tremendous average. So I don't worry about 234, but 16 home runs and 57 RBIs. He's doing very, very well. Not very consistent. Again, not very consistent. Okay, so you need to pick your spots. But again, these are value plays. And for me, I look at a Braves team that is vying for the NL East, that are in a pennant race, and have a lot of consistency within their lineup built around certain guys. So if you have guys like Dansby Swanson, Austin Riley, Ozzie Albies, obviously Freddie Freeman, any of these guys get on base, and Jock Peterson has the opportunity for RBI potential. Okay, and against Mr. Hernandez, like I said, who gives up a ton of hits, doesn't go deep in the games. Okay, about 75 pitches is his cap. Normally, it's about 4 to 5 innings. You're going to get a lot of bullpen arms that are not very good in Miami. So for me, at 3,100, Jock Peterson is a very, very good value play, in my opinion. Now, how about we go to LA, and one of my favorite plays of the year all the time. I love me some Max Stassi. Okay, I do. I love Max Stassi. I'm telling you, him and Jarrett Walsh to me are one of my favorites, because I feel like every time I lean on these guys, every time they just produce, right? They just produce, and in a position of, it's not of need, right? It's not a position of need. It's just a last minute call. Basically, when you're doing your lineups, right? A last minute call to say, what kind of catcher can I get? And Brock Stassi, or I just call him Brock, I'm sorry, Max Stassi what he does is he gives you that number under 3,500 and he produces about mid-range 250, 260, right? But as a catcher, you're really not going to lose much. Your core will produce. As long as your core is solid, these guys will not hurt you. They will only help you. Okay? So Max Stassi, to me, again, it's in a good spot at 3,300. Okay. And I know technically you're going to say he's going up against the best hitter on our best pitcher on the slate. Okay. Or the most expensive hitter on the slate. I get that. But guess what? That doesn't mean this pitcher can't be hit up. So that's what I keep saying. Doesn't mean he can't be hit on. All right, so you have to look at this and how many hits has he allowed? I'm not just going by runs. Give me the hits. Luis Garcia has still allowed 16 hits in 3 games. If you take that, that's about 6 hits per game. If Max Stassi gets me 2 hits and knocks in an RBI for 3,300, boom, there's my 7 to 10, and I'm good. Right? As long as my core produces like they should, listen, that's a bonus. Right, this is a bonus. So again, I'm looking at the low number, low ownership value. Not a lot of people are going to be in on Max Stassi. So I think Stassi, what that'll do, it'll separate you from the pack. And again, it could be the difference. I keep saying this, from finishing first or finishing 18th. You'd be surprised what a couple points can do within those cash games. And then we're going to go to the Dodgers, who have a very interesting matchup tonight. I see a lot of people stacking Dodgers. I'm not stacking Dodgers against Chris Paddock, but what I am doing is I'm looking for value. And for me, when I can start Corey Seager, okay, Corey Seager for 4,300, give me that all day. Now, I get it. I am not looking for Corey Seager to set the world on fire with home runs. He only has 1 home run in the past 13 games. That's it. But again, he's not striking out, and he is taking pitches, and he is grabbing walks. He still has 2 multi-hit games in the past 7. Okay, so I am very intrigued at this matchup against Chris Paddock, who's given up a lot of hits. And when you get a guy in Corey Seager that drops below that $5,000 number, which you know he normally is, you have to pounce on it. We've seen this before. We've seen it with Castellanos numerous times where he fluctuates between like 5,400 and 4,000, right? You have to pounce on these guys. DraftKings is giving you this number. You have to deep dive through these lineups and look at these guys. They're going to offer you maximum value, and Corey Seager definitely is one of those guys. Now, let's finish this up with the value of the day. I shouldn't say value of the day, just a value catcher. Okay, I'm going with Tom Murphy from Seattle. I always give you guys, a catcher who I feel is number one. I already gave you Max Stassi. He's on the value list, but just from a catcher perspective. Okay, just from a catcher perspective, I like Tom Murphy. Why do I like Tom Murphy? Because he's going up against Arizona. Okay, and Arizona stinks. Now, I know he's not going up the whole team, but I am not worried. I am not worried. I'm not worried about Castellanos on the mound. I'm not, right? And I'm looking at this, the last game, just looking at one game alone against Seattle, which obviously what he did. Okay, this is a bounce back, but he's not going to bounce back against this team. He gave up 7 hits and 5 earned runs. Only went 3 1/3 and pitched 70 pitches. He is not a good pitcher. This is not a good team. And Tom Murphy, okay, Tom Murphy, I like that name. Good Irish name, right? Good Irish name. Tom Murphy is one of those guys who can just explode. What did he do yesterday? 2 home run game. Who expected that? Nobody. But here's the thing. If you look down at his numbers against Arizona, he's absolutely killed them. 22 points in fantasy over the last 2 games set they had against Arizona. Okay? So the odds of him going long are slim because he just hit 2 last night. But again, he does have multiple multi-hit games over the past 15 days. So I like 3,100. If you're looking for a catcher at maximum value, look no further. Tom Murphy could be that guy. And let's go with the FFVP, which is the Fantasy Firebox value play of the day. I'm going to go with Andrew Vaughn. And the reason why I'm going to go with Andrew Vaughn is number one, I talked about this earlier with the Chicago White Sox, right? We talked about this against Connor Seaball. And what I do is, why everybody's going to jump on those big-time names on that team, and rightfully so, not knocking anybody. Somebody wants to jump on Grandel, Abreu, Moncada, Jimenez, right? We already know that. I'm going to deep dive in and grab somebody, the ultimate value. For me, it's Andrew Vaughn, 2,500. Okay, that's who I'm jumping on. Andrew Vaughn. Now, I know he's only been in positive point production twice in 14 games. I get it. I understand that. But against a matchup like this, against a low-class pitcher, who I know is going to give up some runs and some hits, why not jump in with Andrew Vaughn? He does not hurt you whatsoever. He's going to be in a good lineup with a lot of protection again, just like I talked about Lewis Robert, in a good spot on a good day. Start you some Andrew Vaughn and reap the rewards of a low ownership player. Now, let's do our bombs away before we get out of here. And I love this. Let's do the bombs away. The guys I predict to hit a home run today, under 4. Bregman season there, 4,100. That's okay. I'm going to give it to him. Tyler Naquin, again, another Cincinnati Red. Another Cincinnati Red. I love picking these bombs on these Cincinnati Red teams. Okay, Cincinnati Reds go along at 2,800. I love this play. Okay, I don't know what the odds are from the prop betting scene because I did not look at that for this show. Okay, but just from a DFS standpoint, to go along with Tyler Naquin, 2,100 or 2,800. And how about Alex Bregman? Let's not forget about Alex Bregman. Okay, and again, 4,100 is a really good number. Okay, it's a really good number. And again, it's all about the matchup going up against Jose Suarez, okay? And you look at him and you say, you know what? What has he done? He's only given up 2 home runs in 5 games, but he gives up a lot of hits. So I'm thinking he makes a mistake for Alex Bregman, and Bregman's starting to finally come back on. Okay, a lot of people forget that. You know, he went through a lot of injury issues. He finally comes back, and he's starting to get his legs within him. And the last 3 games, he has been on fire. Okay, absolutely on fire. 60 points in 3 games. Okay, and his number is still only 4,100. 2 home runs out of the last 3. I think he goes long again today. I think it's a perfect analogy for Bregman. And how about my man, Mr. Voit from the Yankees, the big bat of Mr. Voit in the New York series. I told you Taijuan Walker is a guy who will make mistakes. He's a hard thrower. That's why I have Judge in my core. And what better way than to get my man Luke Voit in there to possibly go long under 4,000, 1 home run in the past 7 games. I think today, okay, against the Mets in the New York series, what a better way than to go long on a Saturday afternoon. So again, there are my picks right now. This is Major League Baseball DFS. Let's go and review real fast. Again, the Fantasy Firebox. Follow me at Cutillo23 on Win Daily Sports. Here is our core of Mr. Perez, Judge, Castellanos, and Albies. Check that core out. We got some value plays with Lewis Robert, Jock Peterson, Max Stassi, and Corey Seager. Still can't believe Corey Seager is under 5,000 to 4,300. You got to jump on that. Our FFVP, Mr. Andrew Vaughn at 2,500. And our arms, Walker Buehler, Charlie Morton, again, 8,000, 9,400. Great thing. And then you got Brady Singer as a sleeper at 7,000. Our value catcher today, Mr. Tom Murphy, and bombs away, Tyler Naquin, Alex Bregman, and Luke Voit. Everybody checking in, as always, Joe, Dennis, Al, Mike, everybody on the crew, much appreciation. Let's go out. Fantasy Guru checking in as well. Let's go out. Let's have some fun. Number 1, go out. Enjoy your family. Enjoy the day. It's a great day for that. Number 2, watch this. Subscribe to Fantasy Firebox. Subscribe to the Win Daily Sports YouTube page. Get hooked up with your membership with your first month free. Tell them Jigsaw sent you. Check out today Fantasy Firebox all day long to get you ready for those games. Tomorrow, Fantasy Firebox, get you ready for NFL at Cutillo23. Everybody stay safe and stay healthy, and I'll catch you right here tomorrow.